Hello everybody. It's our pleasure to welcome you to tonight's viewing of the senior video.
Over the past couple of months, we've edited over 1,640 minutes of footage. It's been a long process, but thank you for taking part in it.
And we really wish that we could be there with you guys in person, but even through these uncertain times, we hope you enjoy the video nonetheless.
Our story starts almost 13 years ago. 180 kids, 3 schools, 1 little island we called home.
Books and pens, I can tell that we are gonna be friends. I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
Over 4,750 days ago, our tiny 5-year-old bodies walked into our first day of elementary school. Back then, our little world was filled with uncharted territory, and it was all ours to explore.
Safely walk to school without a sound.
Over the next 7 years, our prepubescent brains would experience quite a lot. We would eat our lunches in the same place we played basketball and PE. We would scrape our knees and elbows after sliding across the blacktop at recess. And we would think that being a 3rd grader meant we ruled the world. We learned how to play instruments that now sit in a box in our garage. We traveled into the Cascades for mountain school and across the San Juans to Camp Rockila. But most importantly, we made friendships that would last us years to come. And after those 7 years, we would move on to the next season of our life. But still, we held on to those experiences that shaped us into who we are. And as we look back, we remember all that made us who we are today.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends. Yes, I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
I think this was in 6th grade, and I was Persephone, and this guy was Hades, and so we had, like, you know, that little love connection, you know, Persephone. And he was dating someone at the time, Emily Stanford, and she went for my neck because we were gonna play together, and she thought I liked him. It was really scary. I really thought she hated me for the longest time, even though that was literally in 6th grade. But I was in a play with Logan Hanrahan, and he was the prince and I was the princess, and we'd stand like this far away from each other because I was scared of boys.
Lindsay and I were sitting next to each other, and we were supposed to be quiet or something, or we were like supposed to be reading, and Lindsay and I like kept talking and like laughing and messing around, and the teacher caught her, and so her name got put up on the board. And may I remind you, Lindsay does not get in trouble. She's the good one. And she kind of started freaking out, and she's like, oh my god, what do I do? My name's on the board. Like, will you get in trouble so your name goes on the board? So then I ended up getting in trouble to put my name on the board.
Okay, so in Miss Moore's class, we had our little, class economy, and we got paid every month. And
you had to rent out the desks.
Yeah, and you could buy people's desks, and you could start businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember all I cared about was just buying, because you could buy the wall, and you could put...
Yeah, you bought so much property on the wall.
I just bought the entire front wall. And then Madeline Kogel, she was the slumlord, and she bought everybody's desk. And then she tried to buy my wall, dude. It was... No, she bought my desk, and then she tried to buy my wall, and I was like, no, you can't do that. Too far.
Megan, do you remember in the lunchroom at Island View where they would have whistles, and if we got too loud, they would blow the whistle to make us quiet?
And you would lose your recess. You had to line up in the back of the cafeteria and sit through the whole recess if you're loud. It's so not fair.
So we all did basketball together, and we had basketball practice in the elementary school gym at Mount Airy, and Ainsley and I were walking in or something, and we both see a ball rolling towards the exit doors, and there's a pole between the doors, and we both just drop our stuff and race to get this ball. And she
got my head bashed in.
Yeah, her head just totally hit the gray pole. Felt so bad.
Oh, I remember getting sent to Mrs. Dowd's office for calling Sean Robinson a butthole for interrupting I was about to beat Levi. Levi was this huge football player dude. And it was really hard to beat him because he was the best player in any game. And I was about to beat him at State Bowl, and Sean Robinson runs across the court of the United States map on recess field.
Oh yeah.
And I called him a butthole.
There was this game where you would zap someone. So somebody zapped me, so they put a Z on my hand, and then that person writes a name, and then you have to ask out that person. And so I got zapped to Scott. And so I was looking for Scott at recess, and then I find him in the middle of the field. So I go up to him, and I was like, Scott, I got zapped to you. Will you go out?
I ran away.
He just ran. He just booked it.
I panicked and
he
ran.
looped back around.
I think I ran. No, I think I ran to somebody and was like, yeah, and just started running again.
And then I don't really know where it went from there, but I thought that was really funny. We dated
that
for
was actually
30 seconds.
I remember Asia and Ashley started a group called the A group or whatever, and Ainsley joined that group. And then one day when they weren't there, Ainsley was kind of by herself and alone, and I remember at recess she came up to me and Lindsay, and she's like, can I hang out with you guys? And we were like, yeah. And then that's kind of how our friendship blossomed.
Yeah, I remember doing the poems in Mrs. Peachick's class.
The poems?
I got 2 in paying attention in that class. This is the lowest grade I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
My parents were unhappy.
So my best friends at the time were Gavin Jones and Drew Monson, and I don't really know how this happened, but we just went to Drew's house and we watched the first Child's Play movie at 7 years old, and he told me it wasn't going to be scary, and I have never been more terrified in my life watching a movie. And for months after that, I had to every so often go up to my parents' room and sleep with them because I would just get too scared that Chucky was in my closet.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
And I had nightmares about Chucky the doll for a few years after that point.
Miss Bowen asked us all what we wanted to be when we grew up or something, and Jack was just I want to be a firefighter. And for some reason we thought it was hilarious.
I said fireman. I remember that.
Fireman.
I was messing around. I think it was with me and Julian. I can't remember.
It was really funny. I think we also We also got in trouble because I think I pretended to punch you or something. No. I think it's because we were making dirty jokes and Alana Haryu told on us and then we got in trouble.
Like Ava and I were like more obsessed with Twilight than I'm willing to admit. You had to leave and then you came running back to my room to get something and you were like, just so you know, I'm actually a vampire. Don't tell anyone. And I was like,
I'm not sure where we got the idea to be like animal whisperers. We just had this idea to like help my dog with his issues, even though he had no issues at all. And it's like, oh, this is really funny. But it was kind of only funny to us. And we're like, oh, let's just put it on YouTube and just tell everyone about it.
Who's a teacher that you really liked?
Oh my god, Mr. Guzik! Mr. Guzik.
Or Mr. Guzik.
Mr. Guzik, I was gonna say Mr.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. Guzik.
Remember Mr. Guzik being pretty cool or something?
Oh, Guzik is awesome.
Mr. Guzik.
Mr. Guzik, of course. I like Mr. Guzik a lot.
So in 6th grade, Mr. Guzik's class, I left the class and while I was gone, I noticed that someone ate my Cheez-Its. And I came back and I just kind of mentioned it to Mr. Guzik. I was like, hey, like someone ate my snack. I was wondering if you like knew where it went. Then he ends up lecturing the class about it for about like 30 to like 45 minutes about how wrong it is to steal my snack and make the most dramatic thing ever. And then later I get like a letter from Macy and Naga.
No.
Apologizing about stealing my Cheez-Its.
Of course, because he stole your cheese.
Yeah.
I remember he would, if someone was ever not paying attention to him when he was talking, he would just go and sit on their desk, and it was hilarious.
He's the one that got me into acting.
I remember making Greek mythology plays.
Miss Ward was so nice. Miss Ward?
Miss Ward was a G.
She still remembers me to this day, and I had her in kindergarten.
I've seen her like I'd say 50 times.
She taught me how to read well.
I remember Mr. DeVries, our PE teacher, he would always call me Yoey Zanega instead of Zoe Yanega, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. He turned me on to Michael Jackson because he used to always play Michael Jackson in his PE class.
That's true.
Now
We
all listen to Michael Jackson now.
Miss Metters was her name. I remember she got a puppy the year that I was in her class, so it was like a big deal to like walk her dog during like class and stuff.
Miss Summers, she still remembers me, and she's had all of my little siblings too, and like, I love her.
I liked Miss Murray. She made me line later sometimes, and it gave me the confidence.
Miss Clancy. That's not her name anymore.
Anderson. Is it?
Anderson.
I think it's Anderson. She like attacked Grayson one time.
Wait, what?
She like pulled up her kickboxing website and was like, you see this, Grayson? Like, this is what you're getting into. You like, I think it was like, you made a sound over and over, and she's like, stop making that sound. And then randomly, you made the sound, and she pulls up a kickboxing website with her pictures, and she's like, just beating up like a dummy doll or something. I was actually kind of scared.
My favorite was probably Miss Dickinson.
Mrs. Dickinson. She was just super nice and really helped me through math in 6th grade and continued to actually help me into middle school. I would email her or come sit with her. I'd go to the elementary school and she would help me with my middle school math.
I had her for math, and like we still have like a really close relationship still. I don't know, I just love her.
Mr. Rosema and Miss Dickinson, they were both my favorite. They were like, to me, they were the iconic duo.
Yeah, for sure. Mr. Rosema used to like sing for us like every day, and that was a fond memory of 6th grade.
He was probably one of my favorite teachers throughout elementary school.
Miss Glim.
Miss Glim.
Miss Glim.
Glim.
But she was an inspiration.
She was super sassy all the time and just didn't care, and she had this hat that she would wear on days that she was feeling like really aggravated or mean, and she called it like her crabby hat, and it was a crab. And then we would know she was in a bad mood if she was wearing that hat.
Uno and I used to
It was really weird. We were kind of weird in 6th grade, and one time we went over to her house and brought her cookies.
Oh, I'm proud about that.
And I swear she thought that we were the creepiest after that.
Had Miss Tonamaker,
Miss Tonamaker,
who was just fun and silly, and she let me get away with stuff. And like, I used to doodle a lot, so she's like, I want you to draw a picture of me. That was her first year too, so she's like, you should draw a picture of me, and then I'll put it outside my classroom. Just a little portrait, something silly. And it's still there. It's still outside of her classroom. That means a lot.
She was my 4th grade teacher, and she just had this like really good energy that just wanted you to go to class. And she had this stuffed barn owl that we called Barney that would just like be up in front of the classroom just like watching over us. Like back then I thought it was kind of cool, but now it's just like there's a dead owl up there.
But I think my all-time favorite would have to be Miss Nyland.
My favorite teacher is Mrs. Nyland because she used to do plays. So I was lucky enough to have her for 2nd grade and 3rd grade, and so I was in 2 plays. And that was really special because like throughout the whole year you would practice your lines and you do rehearsals and stuff, and she would play like the music like during work time, like the play music, and it was just cool.
I liked Miss Dale. She always brought it every like Friday. I think we always had like root beer floats, watch movies, so it was pretty fun.
Miss Petrick, I don't know if either of you had her, but like she was like the best. She took us on a field trip to her house on Guimas, and she was a really good teacher. I just loved her. And she had a dog. Her dog, she'd bring him to school.
I like watched all the High School Musical stuff, and I like owned like all the backpacks and all the shirts. Like I was obsessed.
Even though
I was big into High School Musical too.
I like Waverly Place a lot.
Toddlers and Tiaras was like a really big thing for me in like 5th and 6th grade at Mount Airy. Like Ashley Goss, Grace Tesh, and Adriana, and like we would all like reenact like the steps of like Toddlers and Tiaras. I feel like, was iCarly like an elementary school thing, or was I just obsessed? Yeah, that was definitely like what I watched.
iCarly, Victoria was good.
I watched Nickelodeon, like iCarly, Victorious.
Yeah, Victorious.
Teen Beach Movie.
Oh yeah,
my
that was our Teen Beach Movie. We would like, there was this one song. What was the one song?
Falling for You.
Falling for You. We would go over to my house and we would play that song and we would reenact it, and like we would like fall off like the couch, and then usually it was me, and then Maya would like catch me, and we'd be like singing along the whole time.
Like, I think Airplanes. Is that what's that song?
Oh yeah.
B.O.B.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song like really brings it back.
Titanium. All the time, constantly.
And Dynamite and The Climb from Hannah Montana.
How about The Climb?
Radioactive.
Yeah, forgot about that one. We sang that for the talent show in 6th grade.
In 5th grade, the 3 of us, and then K-Row and Abby Hilton, we had a talent show, and we made a whole entire dance to Gangnam Style because that was like the song of the year.
I remember like the Cup song was like a huge hit in like elementary school, and one recess, I think it wasn't it like Joffrey Hamilton, him and I, we just got some cups, and then we just went on the side of like the playground, and like a bunch of people were just like listening to us do the Cup song and just singing it. It was so bad because he knows how to sing in it.
Boom Boom Pow. That was my favorite song of all time.
What did the fox say? Oh, that's a good one. It's big. While I was playing Minecraft, I think that was what was playing all the time.
Silly Bands.
Silly Bands. That's the first thing that I think of.
Silly Bands?
Jacob. Silly Bands.
Oh, yeah.
One day I showed up to elementary school. I thought it was so cool. I had silly bands all up my entire arm, and I wore long sleeves. And I showed up to school, flashed those That was the coolest.
They're like a big thing for me too. And I used to trade them all the time at like recess.
Silly bands I remember vividly in like 4th and 5th grade.
Yeah, no.
And they would all cut off their circulation. 1,000 bands on each arm.
No.
Did you guys ever have those like squinkies? Like the little pencil top erasers?
For sure.
At Mount Erie, it was the little squishy pencil toppers that had animals that you would get out of like a 25-cent machine. And kids would steal those out of each other's desks, and it would cause huge drama. And there would be like accusations about it. It got really intense.
I was honestly the weirdest kid ever, so I had Heelys. I don't know if anyone, but I wore Heelys.
I remember I would wear Ugg boots a lot in like 5th and 6th grade. Like I loved my Ugg boots. It was like the only pair of shoes that I ever wore. It was so ugly.
I just remember in elementary school I would like wear all like neon.
I think
it was like
that's
different
the
neon.
big thing.
It was like neon pink socks, neon like blue shorts, and like neon shirts. Yeah, it was all over the place.
I started a neon Wednesday in elementary school where like you just wear like neon, and I had bright neon like green pants and a bright neon yellow shirt. Looked disgusting, but I mean that was the trend, was neon.
Foursquare.
Foursquare.
It was Foursquare.
Foursquare.
I would say Foursquare was big.
Foursquare?
Foursquare was pretty exclusive at Mount Erie. Like, you had to be pretty good at Foursquare to get in to the top.
But at Fidalgo, there was the 8 square game, and that was like my favorite because it was like Foursquare, but like bigger.
I literally remember the one time I was like, oh, I'm gonna impress people. I got on those, those monkey bars that they have? I got on them and I was gonna do a flip. And all I remember is I stood up on one of them. I don't know why I thought on top of it, and I literally stood up and my legs separated somehow, and I literally just fell. Like, I literally just went like so hard, and I just remember like everybody was staring at me and I was like, yep.
You fell on the ground?
No, I felt like it went like right between my legs.
4th or 5th grade? I don't know. I can't remember.
5th grade, I think.
Okay, so 5th grade.
We just throw pens at each other.
Yeah, no, Garrett found this like pen that was like leaking ink, and he was like, guys, I have this new game. So it's like tag, except we go around and we throw the pen at each other's ankles, and whoever gets hit in the ankle is it.
Oh.
And that lasted about one recess, and then the duties like completely shut it down. They were like,
got
nope,
mad at me.
nope. Yeah, they did.
I do remember that though.
What's the one where you like throw it? It's like Foursquare but farther. Long ball. You like huck it across.
Where you tried to like introduce long ball to us. It's like that's a Fidalgo thing.
An only Fidalgo thing.
Yeah, and we're like, we don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So
That was my prime, I think.
We had Gaga Ball at our elementary school.
The Gaga Ball got really intense.
Gaga Ball.
And we got a Gaga Ball pit at Mount Erie. That was big too.
And like it was like brand new. I think we got like when we were in 5th grade, and everyone would play that. It was so violent to like go in the little circle because people were so aggressive.
I actually slapped somebody in the face while doing that on accident. I was trying to hit the ball with my hand and missed and reached up and slapped somebody in the face. It was great.
We were playing Gaga Ball. It was like an intermixed schooling thing. I don't know. And yeah, we were just playing Gaga Ball, and Kevin decided to just take a dump right on the court. It was so bad.
I wanted to put a psychological like thriller to Gaga Ball, like consequences.
Hey man, what's up?
Hey, just watching the senior video.
Ah, cool. What season are you on?
Just about to start the middle school one.
Oh, is that the super cringy and awful one that no one likes?
Yeah, but you gotta watch it to get the full experience.
If you say so, I guess.
I do say so.
For many people, middle school is not remembered fondly. Whenever the topic is brought up, it's usually just paired with a disgusting look and a hastened change of subject. You don't often hear someone say, "Man, I wish we could go back to middle school." While we may view middle school as the dark ages of our life, it's important to recognize the impact that such a brief period of time had on our character. Middle school made us who we are today, whether you like it or not. To say the least, we are far different from our middle school selves, and maybe that's a good thing. Everyone's changed, whether it be one direction or another. As we look back on our long days spent in block, having to wear those awful PE uniforms, and all the insane things we did at the middle school dances, remember that people change. Maybe if we do, middle school won't seem like something we'll want to forget.
Well, Katie and I met and became best friends in a single moment. I had a Lunchable, like a ham and cheese Lunchable, and Katie was going around from table to table just like talking to different people she's never talked to before. And she comes up to me and we're talking or whatever, and we start taking the cheese and start throwing at people at my table. And then we go around the whole lunchroom, start throwing cheese at people's faces. And there was a moment where Katie and I just like started throwing it at each other. And then we ran out of cheese, so I picked up the ham and I threw it straight onto her face. And it's like square on her face. And it was the funniest thing. And we've never met each other. We don't know each other's names. And it just like that moment we clicked. And then for I think like 2 weeks after that, we just called each other Ham because we didn't know each other's names.
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing.
There was a long time where we didn't know our names at all. So funny.
I had Miss CS, and so I had
we
her.
were in the same English
Yeah.
class.
So we had her for block. Once we got all of our stuff done, and like Abby and I like to read during that time. So like Miss CS was like, okay, like once you like read your chapter or whatever, you can go do like something in the garden or kitchen room. So we spent.
We would run like all the way to her, from her English class to her garden class. And at one point she had like a big box of chocolate chips.
Yep.
We would grab like handfuls.
Yeah, and we had
like,
Caden
all the
in
way
the
back.
class too, and so he would come down with us and like get all the chocolate chips, and then we would clean the classroom a little bit. But it was a lot of cooking.
Oh man, do you guys remember Mrs. Gallo?
Oh, yes.
That Miss Gallo.
We have to talk about Gallo's class.
Oh man, yeah,
like-
we do. We definitely have to talk about that class.
Oh, jeez.
In middle school, Quinn got me and Jefferson, because we were both in a challenge block with him, super into Rubik's Cubes. And so he would just bring them to school every day and just be solving them in the middle of class. And in science one day, Mrs. Gallo just came up to him and took his Rubik's Cube from his hands, then put it on her desk. As soon as she turned away, he reached into his backpack and grabbed another unsolved Rubik's Cube out and just started solving.
And then she was gonna like, Quinn, bring that to me. And he gets up and he trips, and the Rubik's Cube falls on the ground and shatters and goes all over the classroom.
Yeah.
I started crying because she wouldn't give me a good grade on my notebook cover. She's like, there's not enough color on it. And I included like all 7 colors in the notebook cover, and she still gave me like a 50 on it. It was so sad.
So we're all taking this test, and Gallo's already like on her last straw kind of thing, as we made her every single day. And we're all taking this test, and it's really quiet and stuff. And she's like, I don't want to hear another word, or one of you just go to the office. And Andrew, now the sweet boy he is, coughs into his hand. And Eric Kupar is sitting across from him and goes, Andrew, shh, And Gal goes, Andrew Hall now!
We definitely made her retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our fault. I guess I said a joke and everyone laughed or something, or something happened where Mr. Dunham was got my attention. He was looking at me, and I'm and I just say, "You can get back to work now." And he's like, "What did you say to me?" And I'm like, "You can get back to work now." So he took me out into the hall and we had a talk.
Somebody passed Ryan Franovich a note, and then Miss Gexler was like, "Let me see what's on that note." And then he stood up and he was like, "No, I can't let you see this." And he was gonna go throw it out, and she's like, "Let me see it right now, or you're going to Mr. Perkins' office." And he was like, "Sorry, you can't see it." And then he just tore it in half. And it was so dramatic. And then she was like, "Go down to Mr. Perkins' office right now." And he went down, and then he didn't even get in trouble because she sent so many kids to the office every day.
Oh, Miss Templeton for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought Miss Templeton stood out.
One day she was kind of upset, and we could all tell, And she was telling us, she's like, "So I'm kind of not in a good mood because the library lady or someone that was in the library yelled at her for wanting to get books for us or something." And she kind of had a little meltdown about it, and I was like, "Oh," and then she's like, "But yeah, that's my day." And then she's like, "So how's everyone else's day?" I don't know, she's a very open, energetic and communicative teacher, and you could tell she actually cared.
She was one of the kids.
So I think that I reconnected with Ava really in Algebra 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And geometry.
Okay.
Oh god.
Alright.
Miss Cooper's class.
Oh, that was a fun time. I was so confident, and then I always had the wrong answer.
I just remember Liam Poor used to always, he hated us because we were 7th graders in that algebra class, and he'd be tryhards, sevies or whatever.
All me a tryhard,
the worst insults.
Yeah. Remember that whole walkathon we did in 7th grade? My class, oh boy, we were we don't want to run. We straight up refused. So we made signs, and we we had chants, we linked arms, and straight up refused to run. And we just scared all of the other classes. We're all wearing red and black, and we're making chants about how we don't want to we're whole boy hawks and whatever. A lot of people hated us, but we had a lot of fun. And my favorite memory in middle school was whole boy hawks. I remember wearing a skirt to middle school was a big deal. I would text all my friends and be like, wear a skirt tomorrow. I am not wearing a skirt alone. That was a big deal. And I don't know why. Same with track shorts.
I couldn't wear a skirt to school unless someone else was wearing a skirt. And I'd be like, "Hey, do you want to wear a skirt to school tomorrow with me?" Or, "Hey, do you want to wear a dress to school tomorrow with me?" Oh my.
Cargo shorts. Every day I wore cargo shorts. Or that's if I wanted to spice it up. The pockets on the side, I had 6 pockets.
In the morning, you know how in the morning you had to get on that bench or whatever, it was for 8th graders.
On the bench.
If anybody sat on the bench that wasn't an 8th grader, thought it'd be such a big deal.
And we were all so mad because when we were 8th graders, the 7th graders were standing in the, you remember how they all stood in the middle of the thing? And we were we waited our turn to go sit at the benches, please. We want that area.
I was just sort of floating around because I just showed up in 8th grade, and I just met some really cool people that, Faith Martinez and Sophie Flores, and just, I don't know, people in my block class I just started hanging out with.
In 8th grade, I was in the robotics program, and I really dig robotics. It's one of my favorite things to do. And for whatever reason, I was just super inordinate, totally no reason, but I was just really ticked off that JT quit the team in 8th grade because he didn't like it. And I was just super ticked off about that. And I don't know why.
I do remember dating Chase Cornett for about 3 days. I still feel really bad. I'm so sorry, Chase. I missed out.
Every school dance, I knew there was gonna be 5 girls crying in the bathroom, and I just wanted to eat cake. The Halloween dance in 7th grade, I just remember holding hands with Dominic Ermy, and our hands were so sweaty, and everybody was like, go slow dance. And I was like, I don't want to.
I'm like, oh my god. And then you just end up like sitting there like.
Yeah.
And I broke my kneecap in half.
I remember you kept showing us the video of when you broke it.
I know. I still like if when it was on your Instagram, still I'd go show people. I'm like, look it.
People,
yeah, like I still remember, but I remember you being like
mad when they noticed that I took it off my Instagram. They were like, "What? Where did it go? Where is it?" And I was like, "It's in my phone. Why?" And they're like, "I need to see it. I need to see it now." And I'm like, "Jeez."
Okay, so me and Madison Piedmont are best friends. I remember practicing the with Nene dance in front of her long mirror in her room for like hours before the middle school dances. So when that song came on and everyone gathered in the big circle and did their whip and Nene, we had it like on point. So sad.
On the dab.
And you aced that test.
There were so many weird challenges.
I have a scar from like the eraser challenge where you would just rub an eraser on your arm.
You did that in block class?
Yeah, it like peels your skin off.
Yeah.
It's very painful.
The salt and ice challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
That period.
Was the cinnamon challenge during that time? Or was that already like alive?
I don't know. Probably.
Cinnamon, where you just eat a spoonful of cinnamon. Wow, that was...
Cinnamon, oh!
Yeah, it's nasty.
The try not to judge challenge, where you would
Ew.
like on your
I hated
face,
that one.
face look really bad, and then you like.
Oh yeah.
I remember doing the ice bucket challenge in my yard with like a few people, and it was cold because I went in the hot tub right afterwards, so like it was like a big difference in temperatures.
I had a Musical.ly account, and I posted so often, and I had like 150 people that were like following me, and I felt so proud of myself. All I made was anime edits.
I was a big fan of Musical.ly. Me and McKenna Clute would make them in class and in the hallways at school. And I don't remember why, but there were some days where we would be at school like after school. I don't remember why, but we would hang out like basically under one section of like the stairs. We would literally just hang out like under the stairs and make Musical.lys until our parents.
But a bunch of edgy kids. They're so cool.
We were so cool.
And Vine. Yeah. Vine Dub Smash.
Vine,
oh my god. So good.
Vine really started getting popular in middle school and elementary school.
I know that I would walk to Starbucks like every day.
Oh yeah.
And then the unicorn drink, when that came out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was actually really bad.
Every year there'd be a fundraiser where you'd sell like magazines, I believe, and like one of the prizes was the tornado mug.
Tornado mug!
I think for like the next week after that, in the hallways, I just hear tornado mug just being shouted out with next to no context. It was great.
It was the first week of school. It was like the second day of 7th grade, and I went to the bathroom and I like was hovering because I didn't want to touch the toilet seat, and then I accidentally peed into my underwear. And I was wearing a dress, and this is like before I knew that you're supposed to like wear spandex underneath dresses. So I peed into my underwear while trying to hover, and then I had to go to my next class with pee in my underwear, and I sat next to Ben Cohen, and it was a choir.
Oh my god!
I got your pee underwear on? I didn't have any other choices.
Definitely my buzz cut. It's being called
magic buzz cut.
My buzz cut was the worst 5 years of my life.
I was discovering myself in middle school.
He was a serial dater because you had like
4 girls in 1 year in middle school. 5 girls.
And it's a hot commodity in that friend group.
I'm not gonna give any names, but there was someone in PE class, every time we were changing the locker room, she would brush her hair while she bullied us and would just say really rude things while she was just slowly like brushing her hair over and over again. And then one day we paid close attention to her locker combination. And when gym class was over, or sometimes after school, we'd sneak in and open her locker and take her hairbrush and dump it in the toilet and then put it back. So she'd brush her hair with it the next day while she was being mean to us. And she would just like chew us out while she was brushing her hair, and we just like smile at each other.
There was like, I don't know what year this was, 7th or 8th grade, but before, like, it was like basketball tryouts. And there's this little bison on the underside of where the rim attaches to the backboard. And I was like, oh, I can jump up and I can touch this bison thing. It was like super cool because, I don't know, just thought it was cool. And then there was a wet spot, so I went to go jump up and hit the bison, and then I just slipped, fell on my back. And there was like, I don't know, there was a bunch of people around.
In front of the girls basketball team, or
Yeah,
the volleyball
that's what
team.
it was. It was bad.
Okay, I remember in middle school, I always thought Trevor was cute. The first time I was ever talking to him, he was walking in front of me and I was walking behind him. And then he turns around and he's like, Zoe, stop staring at my butt or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, he thinks I'm looking at his butt. Like, and I'm not, like, what am I supposed to do? And I was like super freaked out for the rest of the day. But
I don't think I have any I confessed my love to Will Peeler on Instagram on a post. And we had a conversation that went on for hours, and then my parents found out and they asked me about it, and they pulled out my yearbook and was like, who's this guy? And I'm like,
okay, backflipping at a school dance is probably the cringiest thing you can do.
But it's a power move.
Yeah, no, definitely. I felt pretty cool afterwards, but a year goes by and then you're like, that wasn't that cool. That was really actually very weird.
Middle school, Lily and I stopped talking for a little bit because Lily was scared to tell me she liked my cousin. That's something I remember. I was like, it just like was weird. She just like had to stop talking to me, and I was like, what's going on?
And now Julie and I have been dating for 3.5 years, and we're all friends.
Hey guys. What you watching?
Oh, we're just watching the senior video.
Oh, what season are you on?
We're just about to get to this high school season. Yeah, that's the one.
That's the best season.
Why do you say that?
Well, we couldn't tell you. Yeah, you'll have to watch it yourself.
Shucks. Fine.
So here it is. The moment we've all been waiting for. The home stretch, the final scene, the culminating conclusion of our public education career. Also known as high school. Our class had quite a run here at AHS. In just a few years, we went from a broken down brick building to an orange and blue airport lounge, all the while having to walk back and forth between the middle school. After we lost our voices cheering at Tiger Hawk, we would head straight to the donut house or to Cruise and Coffee. From the sunrises at the top of Capsama to the sunsets at Washington Park, we loved our island more than ever. To say the least, a lot can be said about our 4 short years at Anacortes High School. And 4 years ago, graduation seemed like a dream. We watched as year after year, seniors shuffled onto the field to receive their diplomas. The thought that one day those seniors would be us, always lingering in the back of our minds. Finally, that dream became a reality. And although this reality may not be the one we always wish for, it's reality nonetheless. The last 4 years have all led up to this moment. Regardless of whatever situation you find yourself in, let's make the most of it.
Freshman year, me, Andrew Knapp, Henry Rolfe, Joseph Pesaturo, Dylan, we were all sitting in the back and we were talking in our Italian accents. All period, to the point where Mr. McCartney couldn't teach anymore because he was so mad at us. So we sat for the rest of the day and started painting.
Kyle, he had the water bottle. No, it's the empty Gatorade bottle. And he tossed it at the garbage can and missed. And then he tossed it again and then made it. And so our table started clapping. And then we got like 2 tables around us clapping. And then we got the whole lunchroom clapping because Kyle made it.
Sophomore year with Miss Gibson, we had like the timed rights, or I can't remember. And like one day we didn't have enough time to finish it in class, and so she was like, oh yeah, just finish it at home, like you can even like have people read over it and check it. Like she was super chill about it. So I sent mine, like Jenny Hansen and I sent ours to each other to like just like proofread, make sure like we didn't sound insane. But we accidentally submitted the same one, and so turned it in, said like we completely plagiarized our papers.
I remember going to Rugby Island, and I loved that so much. I remember coming out of the concert and thinking, wow, I truly am near Seattle because the music is so evident here. That's something that I really enjoyed.
Drunken Dead was maybe the greatest. It was maybe the greatest movie ever made in Mr. McCartney's career as a teacher. And there's a part where I get dragged off into the woods, and Max does this anime thing where he screams, "Dominic, no!" I think I had people yelled at me in the hallways for 3 months after people saw it. It was insane.
Yeah.
I was going to anatomy, Miss Swanson's class, and I'm walking down the stairs, and then all of a sudden, like midway down, like the first flight of stairs, I just like flew down the stairs, and I hit my wrist so hard, and then I hit my head on the landing, and then for whatever reason, I just kept falling down like the next flight of stairs.
Coy Cooper was like, I just remember he came and gave like an inspirational talk, like sophomore year, I guess. And like, he told us that if we like posted on Instagram, like a person that inspires you or something, like, and tag him or something like that, then like he'll look through all the posts and then like choose some winners and then give them Starbucks gift cards.
Mm-hmm.
So Isabel and I like made up this fake post on this weird like Instagram we have. And then he commented like, "This is awesome post. Appreciate you sharing," with like the sunglass emoji and like the clap emoji.
We were at 4KC, and Miss Leander goes, it was the concert choir retreat. Miss Leander goes, "Nick, go find a place to hide. Everyone's gonna go look for you."
I was in a part where like you like go down into the bottom part underneath into like where all the dark rooms are. So like there's no light.
Yeah, until you sit there for a minute. Because
yeah, and then your eyes adjust.
And then you're vibing.
For sure.
It's so fun.
I remember when I first got here, Maggie and I bonded because we were in the same math class, and no, it was in a push, I think, and I gave her a note and I asked like for her phone number. No, she thought that I was gay. And so,
it was a passing thought. I was just like, because the way you said it, I can still remember it. You were like, hey, I think you're really cool. Like, I'd love to hang out. And I was like, I don't know if she's asking me out or if she wants to. I don't blame her.
Yeah, I mean the early days. We have so many videos of us like playing in your basement.
Oh yeah. Being way too loud.
Yeah.
Knocking stuff off the walls.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to my book club. Hey Jasmine, hey Paulina.
Hey.
Okay. I'll start this one off, men.
Okay.
Uno,
please tell me
I
you're
love
gay.
you. You're the best. The bestest friend I could have ever had. I definitely had a crush on you freshman year. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nice.
Well, I know we've all had crushes on Jordy Mailer, and I'm pretty sure like
Some
every
point in our
girl
life.
in the class of 2020 at some Jordy, like
Jordy.
Everybody has had a crush on Jordy. I'm pretty sure.
I had a crush on Jake Epoxy. And that's the tea.
Jake Romag, I love you. Jake, I will always love you for the person that you are. You're always happy, you're always smiling, and you make everyone's day.
Miss Masters and I were talking about boys. It's like, do you have a thing with anybody? And I was like, well, she's like, I thought you had a thing with Ben Marshall. Because Ben and I sit right in front of her desk with this group, and we laughed the entire time. And I said, no, Ben and I are just friends.
I was late to Anderson's class. It was a Wednesday, and he gave me detention, but I was like, I don't want to go to detention. So I also had a play test in band that day where I was supposed to serve detention, and my braces just happened to break.
Amy and I were like, where is Tori?
I had to go to the dentist's office, and I could not serve my detention.
I really apologize to Mr. McCartney.
She meant no harm.
I meant
She
no
really
harm.
didn't.
I didn't realize how big of a deal it was. So I was the one that stole the hand sanitizer. Just one day in class, I saw it and I'm like I have to take it. I didn't mean to. Like, it was an impulse.
She said it.
I'm really sorry.
Miss Good, twas I who uploaded that pipe cleaner bird to the like Squares program and crashed everything. And it was extremely unfair.
Oh my god, I remember that. We were like driving around and like it was like right after school. We were like yelling at people. And then these they were like younger girls. I think they might have been freshmen. And they were saying like that we were like catcalling them, but we would just like bark and like scream at them. There was this post on Facebook about, and it said this man wearing a dress was yelling at her little girls, and this guy's like so bad, and like it was me. it was funny to see, but I actually really felt bad and probably shouldn't have done it.
I was wearing a button-up shirt, and I walked into Mr. McLean's class, the first day of school, walked into Mr. McLean's class, and I said, hey, Mr. McLean, he goes, hey, and immediately looks up at the ceiling. And I was like, what's wrong? Like, I couldn't tell, like, what, I was like, maybe, you know, I'm, like, something's wrong, and so I looked down, and all of my buttons had come undone, because the laser had pulled them all open, and I was wearing a pink bralette, and you could totally see, like, the entire thing, and it was so mortifying, because I love Mr. McLean like a father figure.
We would always take Mr. Andrich's like supplies on his desk and put them in his pants. Every time he walked out of the room.
We took his staff keys once.
Yeah.
Most of the teachers at the high school, I'm going to be honest, are really good.
amazing people.
I thought you were gonna say they're really bad.
Takes me out there.
I think Miss Poland's got to be my favorite.
Miss Poland's awesome.
Mrs. Pullen.
Miss Pullen.
Miss Pullen.
To this day, I've got a really good relationship with Miss Pullen.
Miss Pullen. I went in to talk to her and she like offered me tea. Like, who does that? That's great.
Mr. Welk.
I want to thank Mr. Welk because Mr. Welk has always like been real. He's just trying to be really engaging with me. And I appreciate that. He points at me and he goes, "Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain," and he just starts singing at me.
I love.
No, we just start singing together.
Mr. Welk or Mr. McLean. Mr. Welk's an absolute legend. A-Push was the most fun class I've taken other than Miss Gallows. And then McLean's just
a good time.
great.
Backman.
Mr. Backman? My father, Mr. Backman. I think I probably, I don't know how many Spanish classes I have skipped to go hang out with him during his plan period, but it's a lot.
I really like Mr. Backman. He always had really good jokes.
Shout out Backman, he's the best. And then Mr. Nichols is just a legend.
Well, my senior crush is Mr. Nichols. Always enjoy going to his class, seeing his smiling face and his awesome shoes.
Same.
Yeah, I'm actually going to change
Poland
mine
shoes.
to Mr. Nichols as well. Miss Berglund. Just a nice teacher that you can always like talk to, and she'll talk back to you and actually have like good conversations.
Brooklyn too for me.
Mr. McCartney.
Oh my God!
Teacher.
Mr. McCartney.
Mr. McCartney.
Mr. McCartney.
Mr. McCartney.
McCartney.
Mr. McCartney.
Like freshman
I think
year.
Mr. McCartney.
After McCartney, I went from hating English, hating writing essays, to wanting to be an author.
Mr. McCartney's just he's a good dude.
Like, he's a really good teacher, but like he's just also like a really like genuine person.
He was really good with finding creative solutions to things and creative assignments that I never really thought of. So I don't know, he just helped me as a person.
I liked McCartney for how genuine he was.
Burnett.
And Mr. Burnett.
Mr. Burnett.
Burnett.
Burnett, of course.
Burnett just wraps his arm around you and he's like, "No, really, how are you?"
Yep. For me, he punches me, but it's okay.
He's a very straightforward man, but he is so kind.
I took his drama class, and it really forced me out of my shell, and it really helped me become who I am today, and it's actually really nice.
He's probably the reason I want to be a teacher, because he made such a big impact on me, and I want to be able to have an impact like that one day. So, Mr. Burnett, you're like my second dad. I love you.
Equal parts, Miss Leander and Mr. Burnett. They both have been beyond fantastic to me and my family. They genuinely care about me, as they do for all their students, and that has meant so much to me.
I'd say also for me, Leander. Like, I had a really hard time in middle school, and she helped a lot then.
Miss Leander is so amazing, and I love her so much.
Leander has definitely made a very big impact on me since 7th grade, because I was always so shy to do things, and then she just kept on pressing me to do things that were out of my comfort zone.
Miss Leander, for sure. She was the first teacher I connected with at Anacortes High School.
Burnett and Leander go beyond teacher and become friend.
Delutri, because I learned a lot, and it was fun to just throw insults at each other.
Like, I love Delutri too, because I had him like my junior year, like one semester, and I don't know, he's so funny and he jokes around a lot, and whenever I see him in the hallway, he's always like, "What's up, Ainsley?" And I'm like, "Oh."
I also love Mrs. Robinson.
Yes,
but then she retired.
She was really fun.
This is a shout out to Miss Stout. I love you.
Mr. Holgertz, you're an adorable human being.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mr. Holgertz. He's my senior crush for sure. Yeah, I was gonna say Mr. Boyce, Mr. Fern,
Yeah.
CTE gang.
The CTE gang for sure.
Miss Ubungan, yeah, like Maggie had mentioned, like Miss Ubungan's been there for me for like the last 2 years. She's so supportive. Whenever you need like a moment to yourself, her room's always open, and you know, whether you need to laugh or to cry, she's always there to do it with you.
I've never actually had her for a class, but Mrs. Ubungan is definitely like one of my favorite teachers ever.
Oh, Ubungan. You've never had her?
Miss Poggi, my guidance counselor.
Yeah.
He's just magical.
But I do want to give a special shout out to all the English teachers I had, because every single one of them had huge impacts on like defining who I am currently.
One of them is Miss Masters, who I didn't have until this year, but she made that big of an impact on me. I love talking about literature with her, and I also go to the gym with her, and we do like body pump and that kind of thing. And we talk about everything. We talk about essays, we talk about boys, and I said this yesterday, but she said to me, if we were in high school together, Grace, we would get in so much trouble together.
And this year, I'd have to say Anderson or Wallace.
Anderson, of course.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson is a great teacher, and he does not get enough credit.
Dickinson is like, it's not like having a teacher, it's like having a friend that you kind of have to listen to.
Yeah, he's always got good energy. Good vibe.
Yeah.
Swanson, I want to say.
Yeah, Swanson was a good teacher.
Yeah.
Mr. Corrales is awesome. Shout out Mr. Corrales.
Well, Andrich, kind of inspired me to become a history teacher. That's what I want to do now.
Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia is probably one of the best teachers I've ever had. He's super passionate about what he does. That makes all the difference.
And Cherkowski. Cherkowski was dope.
Mr. Thompson's a G2.
Honestly, Caden cracks me up. Caden, when he's with Chase and just the dumb stuff, it gets me every time.
Someone who always makes me laugh was Monica Nyland Goings. I have first period with her, and something about first period, the crackhead hours come out, and I always just have such a blast hanging out with Monica. It's always so much fun.
I said Natalie.
Yeah, I would say Natalie too, honestly.
No, stop.
Natalie, you're my vibe mate, and you will always be my vibe mate.
I love you.
Chase Cornett, he's just a really funny guy, and him and the basketball guys too. Like him, Caden, and Grayson are just some of the
so funny.
They're just the goofiest dudes, and it's. Yeah, I wish I had more classes with them.
Swimmers, all the swimmers. I wish I would have gotten to know the swimmers a lot more, because they were such a tight-knit group of friends, and I wish I could have wiggled my way into the friend group.
Cody and Bo were both helped me a lot.
Same with Dominic Ermy.
I wish I had more classes with Garrett.
Uno, Elena Johnson.
Megan Rowell, she's always been so sweet to me, and I just wish I would have made more of an effort.
Okay, well, I've always wanted to get to know Caitlin Hellman better.
Jake Romag especially is just down if you're just hey, we're gonna go on an adventure and we're gonna get the group together and just go somewhere and we don't know where, but let's do it. He's always just yes, let's do it.
I think Isabella Kanazaroff, definitely. We've had so many classes together, and every single class she's just made my day so much better just by being her, and she doesn't even have to try. She just makes everybody laugh. She's so funny.
I want to thank Mr. Delutri for believing in my art ability, which I didn't think I had, and I really like art now.
I really admire Anna Pruitt. She is super smart and humble about it, and she's just awesome. She's just a good person, and I wish that I was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emmy.
Because I'm really good friends with her still. But she's always she's so nice, and she's so caring about everybody.
There's no one can make me laugh like Maddie can.
Definitely Mackenzie Wakefield. I don't think I've ever seen her without a smile on her face.
I kind of wish I was better friends with Vince.
See, and Vince can always amuse me.
I think someone that I look up to, and someone that I haven't talked about before, is Grace Hill.
In high school, throughout the years, she was just so nice, and she would give me cookies and just compliment me, and I was man, I wish I was better at communicating that I would like to be friends with her.
She's just there to give you, like, wisdom. Even if she doesn't have, like, exactly what you're looking for, like, she tries to.
Yeah, Grace was one of the first people I met when I moved here, and she has grown so much since then.
The person I wish I would have been friends with, just so I could have gotten like a cool sweatshirt, is Jack Ackerman. Like, we went to elementary school with him. Like, we pretty much grew up with him. I never have talked to him though, and he seems like a really cool dude.
Sophia and On, two of the foreign exchange students.
Oh yeah, them.
The foreign exchange like student Sophia this year, like I wanted to become best friends with her, but she just seemed too perfect for me to even talk to her. Like I was unworthy to her because she was just so perfect.
Sophia!
I already talked about her.
Oh my gosh. I'm literally like, Sophia, I'm like friend in love with you. Like, you're so beautiful and amazing. Like, I wish that I got up the guts to talk to you because you're perfect.
I don't know. I always really loved like Maggie Betts, honestly.
That's
true.
I think everyone loves Maggie Betts. Like, she's just an awesome person.
Yeah.
Jenny and Maggie are both like really, really sweet people, and I wish I would have been like better friends with both of them.
Jack Murphy might as well be a blood brother.
Yeah, probably for me. I wish that I'd gotten to know Jack Murphy better sooner.
Like, he's Jack when you're in school and stuff, and he's fun, and he'll make you laugh. And then when things actually start getting emotional, he's like there. He's your rock.
At 100%. I cannot even put into words how thankful I am for him for being there for me.
I really wish I had gotten to know Logan Hanrahan better. He seems like a really cool dude. And
I would thank Cole Murray. No matter how mood I was in, if I was mad at that high school, walking in the halls just angry, not wanting to be there, which was the case most of the time, if I found that kid, he would put me in the greatest mood ever.
I'd like to thank all the people in the Honor Society club for putting up with our leadership for the half a year you got to, and then all the people who did it with me, Macy and Zoe and Ava and Chase were really great.
All the teachers and all the students. Everyone's awesome. Except that one kid I caught on the bus hitting another kid with a baseball bat. That was not cool.
You did what?
Hey, Addie.
This is not the finale that we imagined it'd be. Every senior year is bittersweet, but this one seems more bitter than most. We've woken up for 13 years to go to school at 9 and then at 7:30 and then at 8:05, and now time seems to have been cancelled too. And it feels like we don't have to wake up at all. It feels like we're just existing, like we live in memories. Like we've missed it all. Like we're still dreaming, and maybe our alarm just hasn't gone off yet. Like we're just waiting for what's next. We remember the last we didn't know were lasts. The last time we sat around a lunch table, or in the bleachers at an assembly. Our last practice with our team, or the last concert, or the last bell that dismissed us. The last time we passed someone who we might never see again, in halls that we might never walk again. Maybe we didn't appreciate it enough. Maybe we thought we were ready for high school to be over. But we didn't have the chance to say goodbye. We were looking forward still to a senior skip day that's turned into skipped months. What we were looking forward to has been flipped on its head. Now, though, maybe we can appreciate what's behind us. Whether we saw high school as a home, or as a prison, or somewhere in between, we're not going to walk to class within the walls of AHS ever again. Those walls are behind us, even if we didn't see them fall. And with them, many other walls that will never hold our class again. Even if we didn't get to share our senior prom together, our senior assassins, or capture the flag, we've shared so much. So many golden moments with each other. Some golden only in retrospect. Some of us together since elementary. We share anacortes and a whole lot of memories, even if there are some that we didn't get the chance to share. Even now, we're dreaming of the future and remembering what's past together, here. This is not the finale that we imagined it being, but I can't wait to see what the next episode holds for all of us.
Well, that was that.
It was really good. I really liked it.
Me too. Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Well, I should probably get going, you guys. Yeah, me too.
Same here. I'm really hungry. All right, I'll see you guys later.
Catch you later, Erickson.
Later. Bye, Holmes. See ya, homie.
Bye, Erickson.
Bye, Maggie. You know what? I think I want to watch that again.
Okay. Do we have any celery, Mom? Do we have any celery? Do we have any? Where is it?
Mom! Shh. How'd your friend group come together?
Jay, stop.
Chase needs to turn his camera off.
Jacob, yourself. Wait, where
Oh.
did Vince go?
Oh no.
Everyone I know that was in that classroom was stressed out when I'm.
Wait. What was the thing Faith said? Because it all froze really hard.
Oh, you don't want to know.
It's okay.
Just repeat it, Faith. Come on.
You're telling me you've never looked at me a different way.
I mean, I get you. You know, you're looking like a snack right now, Chase.